what's up, guys? Got another video here for you. This is Tuned In Sports. Bryson,
Benett,
Steve.
I'm Don.
and we've got another video coming to you today. Another college football preview video. This time we got a few extra teams to talk about. On top of the usual Alabama, Florida State. Michigan is starting this week, as well as we are all collectively Nevada Wolfpack fans, and one of us actually went to school there.
Woo.
So, yeah, he has a little more rooting interest than just the average person. So, yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Really excited that more and more teams are playing. It's starting to look like a full slate of games again. Really nice to see. So let's dive right into it, starting with the Seminoles.
yeah, woo. You know what?
Hold back. Don't hold back.
Yeah.
Let it rip.
Well, you know what? I love the performance from last week, and you know, I don't know if they're gonna play consistent. You know, I feel like last week might have been a 1 week thing, and then they go back to where they were. So, I mean, they could win the game, but I'm not going to count it as a win quite yet until I see them actually go out and play like, you know, they did. I'm hoping that the team from the first half last week will show up and they'll, you know, play to their potential. So, but whether that's going to happen or not, still yet to be seen.
Yeah, and this one could be a letdown game after the big emotional swing from last week, and then you got to go on the road too. So it could be a kind of a trap situation with with the big top 5 win, and then celebrating all week, and everybody's saying you're great and doing all this stuff, and then go out and get punched in the mouth because you're actually playing a team now. Again, that's with it. So again, if you're looking at common opponents, they both played Georgia Tech.
And both lost.
Florida State did a little bit better, but first game of the season, so don't know about that. But they went to Notre Dame and only lost by 5 points. So
And Georgia Tech got pounded by them.
yeah, so again, should be a good matchup, I think, between the two. Looks like the nation's got about a 70% favoritism for Louisville for them. So we'll see what happens, but looks like it's a pretty good, sizable as far as everybody picks. So that means you go with Florida State, right? Because everybody's like, yeah. So hey, in case for any of you bettors out there.
Yeah.
It's a 5-point spread for Louisville, and it's over under at 60, which I think, wow, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
You know,
Blackman's not the quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, you throw pick sixes. After that.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of Blackman, I'm a huge fan of this guy they got in there now, Jordan Travis. Feel like he's been playing really well, and I feel like ultimately Louisville's going to struggle with him, just like every team that's played us this year has, pretty much. So I expect us to be in the game, and I could very easily see us getting a win here. So
Anything from this side of the table about this game?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll give it a shout. I think it's going to be a good game. There's not a whole lot to be impressed with on either side here. I mean, Notre Dame, I don't know what to make of what they did last week. All I know is that I had the over in that game last week, and it was 64.5, and the score was 12-7 at the end of the game. So that tells you what I know. So I just took myself, all the credit I had, if any, it just went out the window by telling you guys what I did last week. But with that being said, I do think last week was the first time I think Florida State kind of played the type of ball they wanted to play. They got a new coaching staff there.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a few weeks for that kind of to gel. But I think last week is kind of what you're going to see going forward. I think you're going to start seeing more and more of that, where they're going to be able to play some football against teams. And I think you're going to see the effort only get better and better as they go. Because, once you start playing and start scoring points and you're in games and then you're winning some close ones, it's going to make a big difference as far as the level of optimism the fans have, and also, just the players themselves getting some confidence. It's going to be big for that team. Like we said, I mean, they got it's the first year that this coach has been here, so he doesn't really have any of his players in there yet. So, but if he can start winning with this group that he's got now, and then he adds to that mix the players that he wants in there, things could be looking pretty good for Florida State in the near future. So I totally expect it to be a pretty good game. I'm hoping that Florida State can win it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I would have to say the same thing, kind of just echo what they said. I think it should be a tough game. I'm anxious to see which Florida State shows up. If it's going to be, they're riding the wave of momentum and it carries into this game, or like Don was talking about, where they're riding it straight to the bars and then they show up this week and like, oh, wow, we beat number 5 team in the nation. Who the hell is Louisville? And then all of a sudden, you're going into halftime down by 21, wondering what's going on. I think that they will play tough this week, and I think that they're going to give them a good game, but I think Louisville's going to beat them. I just think Louisville is really good defensively, and I think Florida State's going to struggle just because, I really like Jordan Travis, and he's got great running ability, but I don't think that he's going to scramble for more, or be able to scramble for more yards than he throws for against Louisville's defense and get away with it. I think they're going to force him to pass more than he's probably comfortable with, and I think that might create some mistakes. So I'm going with Louisville in this game, but, I don't think that even if Florida State loses here, I don't think that's necessarily the end of the world for them. I think that it's going to be a competitive game, and I think coming off of last week, expectations might be a little bit unreasonable. When you're coming off beating the number 5 ranked team, and then you're looking at a team like Louisville who's 1-4, and you're like, oh man, we just beat them. We should smoke these guys. You know what I mean? I think it's easy to do that. But I think maybe last week was a little bit not. I think that one was a differentiation from the norm, not the new normal. I don't think they're there yet. So that's just how I see it.
I think I don't think this coach is going to have any issues getting these guys motivated to play. I mean, they know what their record is. They know what people are talking about and what they're saying about this team as a whole. And, he knows that he's got to turn it around and that they don't have a whole lot of time to do so. So I don't think it's going to be a situation where they walk into this game and overlook Louisville. I mean, I do understand the letdown of, coming off the high or whatever, but I don't think that's going to play in this game. I think if Florida State doesn't come ready to play this game, then they might as well not show up the rest of the season, because, that's what you're going to be looking at.
Well, I just think even if they do show up to play, I think that last week was better than they really are. And I still think even if they had lost last week, I think Louisville wins this game. Mm-hmm. I'm taking them either way. So
yeah.
But I do think the letdown could play a part. But like you said, I think it's, not entirely. But even if that doesn't come into play, I still pick Louisville.
Yeah,
I do.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, we can agree to disagree. That's all. I don't see it. I don't see Louisville beating them.
I'm taking the Noles.
I think the Noles need to show up tomorrow, and this is a game they got to win. the Noles wouldn't have. I mean, in years. I mean, we're talking quite a few years ago now, but when games mattered back in the day, they didn't let games like this get in the way of their success. They'd come in and just stomp you and say, "Okay, we'll see you next week." And so, I mean, and I'm not saying that they're anywhere near that level of play. I know better. I've watched this season so far, and it hasn't been pretty. But I'm also seeing that, one of the games that they lost, the coach wasn't even there due to COVID. And, I mean, he's only had like 2 games where he's actually been coaching this team. So last week was a big jump. All around the board, it seemed like they were much better. Much more attention to detail on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, it didn't look like the same squad that, got blitzed a couple weeks prior to. So, I'm just saying that, in my opinion, they're going in the right direction. It's going to take some time, but I think they get it done. And if you don't agree, the hell with y'all.
Well, for my last opinion is I'm going to go off of recent records, and looks like both of them played at Notre Dame with 42-26 result for Notre Dame, and then against Florida State, and then Louisville was only 12-7. So I think with the same common opponent, and then with the Georgia Tech one, there's a lot of similarities, but I'm going to go with Louisville on this one. I think that Florida State is going to do exactly what I said at the beginning of this conversation, just because we've seen how undisciplined this team is.
Yes.
And I think this is exactly what's going to happen. And I think it's exactly what North Carolina did last week, where North Carolina said, "Hey, we're going to go into Florida State and we're just going to roll them." And all of a sudden, then they got punched in the mouth. And then next thing you know, they're down 21, 28 points. So I think it's going to be a close game, I think. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for Louisville, but I think Louisville's going to pull out the W for this week. So we got a 2-2 on this one.
2-2.
So
But there's only 2 that matter, and that's us. So
yeah, well, yeah.
It doesn't matter what they think.
Just ask me. The approval numbers are going up. It's all lamestream media, fake news.
Florida State's gonna roll.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Speaking of rolling,
Speaking of rolling,
here we go. Let's roll into the next game.
make sure the
Let's
rolling.
Tennessee roll up on Alabama, mother
Yeah.
buff.
Listen, I'm gonna keep
roll up in the refs, mother buff.
I'm gonna keep this short. The spread is 21.5. That's not enough. Tennessee's getting taken to Pound Town this week. It's not going to be close. I don't care that they're at home. I don't care if they're on the road. I don't care if it's a neutral field. Tennessee is getting plowed. It's not going to be close. Mac Jones is playing like unbelievable right now. I say we're probably going to score 60 points easily. And yeah, Tennessee's going to get creamed. It's not going to be pretty. If they televise this game on the SEC network, they're going to be changing games by halftime.
Go.
Enough said.
Jump in.
I'll go.
Enough said.
As for me, I would probably tend to agree.
Enough said.
Don't give Tennessee a chance at all in this game. That's about it.
What do you mean? They're only got a 93% chance of winning here for Alabama's for to the nation. I mean, that 7.6% is going to be huge for them. But I don't see Peyton Manning or Todd Helton or anybody else coming out of that locker room. And especially if the guy threw 2 pick sixes against Kentucky last week.
Yeah, Garantano.
So I don't know. But again, who knows? I mean, it's another any given Saturday. Could happen. Who knows? Weird things have gone, but I don't see it. I think Tennessee's too much. They're outgunned in this one by too much. Which but again, Tennessee's making improvements over the last few years, so it's good for them. So hopefully they can keep doing what they've been doing, because it seems like it's getting better than what it was.
Yes.
So hopefully they can start crawling back up into the middle of the range of the SEC instead of being in the toilet.
Yeah. I feel like Jeremy Pruitt's done a great job there. For sure. Go ahead, Dad.
Like I said before, enough said. He pretty much said everything that I would say. The over-under in this game is like 65, and it's very possible that Alabama might cover that on their own. Judging by what I've seen, they pretty much are looking pretty unstoppable offensively. And Tennessee, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to athletes, and there's a big difference between the two schools at this point. So I see Alabama winning this pretty convincingly. I do like the over, however. I think if I had to go bet that, I'd like the over in that game. I could see Alabama scoring damn near 50 anyway on their own. So,
Yeah, and then if the quarterback throws a couple pick sixes, then
yeah, they'll cover it.
yeah.
But it could be one of those last drive gets the over, right?
The back door over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be close. Like I said, I think Alabama's going to score 50 anyway, so we'll see what happens. But I like the over. I don't really, care about betting the 21.5, even though I think they'll probably cover that as well. But
I did. That was the first thing that I circled was that one. We've creamed Tennessee the last handful of years, and I don't think obviously Tua was really good, but I think our offense is even better this year than it was when he was on it. So, and that's saying something.
Yep.
So, anyways, let's move on to the next game.
We're all convinced it's going to be a beating. We'll leave it at that.
Won't be pretty.
Yeah.
So speaking of beatings, which we usually see up here at Mackey, let's go to Nevada. Starting off the season, coming out of the COVID den for the Pack. So at home with nobody there, thanks to Sandoval, that we get the Cowboys from Wyoming. Unfortunately, with this is that Wyoming comes in and they're in a higher altitude than Nevada, so they'll be more in condition than we will, because they're used to being in about 2,000 more feet higher in elevation than we are. So they'll come in. The nation thinks about 61% towards Wyoming, 3-point spread, and then over under 51 on that. So tough week, I know, for Coach Norvell. I know he lost his dad, I guess, this past week.
Oh yeah.
So he's going to be coming in. Probably some little motivation for him, but a little bit of a heavy heart going into this game. Also, Nevada has changed their helmet for the 1,000th time in the last 10 years. So we'll be looking at another, who's this team? Oh, yeah, that team.
All you gotta do is watch the defense. You'll know who it is.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as you see a bunch of guys running behind the other team, because we know what Wyoming looks like. They haven't changed. And it's branding, right? It's the cowboy on the horse, right? We'll see what's on that again. New season, don't know what to expect. Last season was not great for the Wolfpack, and then they played horribly in the bowl game, which is normal, because we don't usually win too many of those when we get into them. But hey, we've won more, since Alt's been gone, than any time else, because we only won one before, and that was because Matt Prater got drunk on the beach and shanked an extra point for Central Florida back in the day. So, but yeah, usual, season for the Wolfpack. Low budget movie here. We don't play the players as much like LSU does, or Mississippi State, or everybody else in the SEC. We can't afford it.
Yeah.
It should be a pretty close game. Again, with Mountain West football, until you actually get into the season, you really don't know. Besides Boise State, who's a
perennial.
Yeah, who's the Alabama of the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens on that. But again, with nobody coming in and no idea with anything, I'm gonna have to go with Wyoming in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no fans or nothing, so that doesn't help us.
Yeah, unfortunately, changing the helmets don't get you a win. So, I gotta go with Wyoming here.
Yeah, I probably would agree. I don't know what Wyoming's supposed to be this year. But I just know what I've seen from Nevada. And truthfully, I'm kind of surprised that the guy that's coaching is still there after that nice showing at UNLV. I mean, just, I don't know.
Yeah. He works cheap.
So, yeah, exactly. But, yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping Nevada can win, obviously. I'd love to see that. But I'm not exactly sure what to expect. I think, it might be a pretty close game.
No, I mean they got some good receivers returning.
Yeah.
But again, as usual, what do we have on the other side of the ball?
Yeah.
It's usually the cupboard's bare.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's only a 3-point spread, so in essence, it's a pick'em game. So we'll see what happens. It should be a good game. It's going to be a typical Mountain West game. Nevada's, I think there'll be some points scored there. 51's the over-under. I could easily see it getting to that. I could see like a, 31-27, 31-24, something like that game. Or maybe even closer than that. 31-28, something like that, whatever. I could see it being right around the spread and also around the points.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But,
Anything on your end?
Nevada's winning.
All right.
They're going to pull one out for Coach's dad.
Okay.
That's the only reason I'm picking them.
Otherwise,
I'd go Wyoming all the way. But I'm going to say at home, they'll pull one out for the coach's dad and or mom.
His dad.
Okay, yeah, his dad.
Yeah.
So Nevada's winning.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be a tight game either way. I just hope they play well. That's all.
Yeah, like I said, this game, if we had any home field advantages like cold weather, because it's supposed to be cold this weekend, and then altitude is all out the window because Wyoming plays in a colder place and they're higher in altitude, so we don't even have that advantage that we could maybe pull off.
Like, boy, this is nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Take off a couple layers.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off a couple layers.
Maybe it'll be too warm for the other team.
Yeah, exactly. Might cramp up.
Yeah.
With them too, but again, don't count anything until they actually change to blue helmets with the wolf on the side and just leave it. But until that happens, I don't know. We have no identity besides mistaken.
Exactly.
Speaking of mistaken identities, go blue.
Go blue.
Yep.
What do you think about Mr. Harbaugh this year?
I think it's going to be more like the rest has been, like every other year. I think he'll, probably win 9 or 10 games or whatever it is. Won't win the division. Get into a bowl game, probably lose. But, he'll have them competitive because that's what he does. I don't blame their lack of championships or whatever on Jim Harbaugh. I think he's done more than any coach has, actually. He's done more to try to get recruiting and all that kind of stuff. He's done a yeoman's job, in my opinion. And I think, expectations from fans are unrealistic across the nation. They're just not on level recruiting grounds with Alabama and some of these other schools. I just don't see it. And then when Harbaugh went out of his way to try to set up camps in these other places, what's the first thing that happened? Oh, everybody starts complaining. Oh, we don't want you down here in our recruiting grounds. Well, how are we supposed to compete if we can't recruit?
Well, there's pecking order. SEC, Big Ten, everybody else.
And so, it's just one of those things.
I should say Clemson, then everybody else.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's just, he's done, in my opinion anyway, he's done everything he can do to try to get the program, where it should be. Which
the garbage that they put in there before with Rich Rod and all the other pieces that they've just kind of thrown at it and hasn't done squat.
No. Harbaugh's got the program where it should be.
Yeah.
It's a top 20 program.
Yep.
And
that's going to be national attention is in the limelight, and they're always there.
Right. And they're going to win 8, 9, 10 games. Mm-hmm. So, I'm plenty fine with that. Would I love to see them get to a championship game? Well, hell yes, I would. Mm-hmm. I love Michigan football.
Well, and again, it's just as usual. A lot of things. It's timing, right? Unfortunately for him, Urban Meyer went in. Once Urban Meyer went in, he just took everything over because that's what Urban Meyer does. Yeah. And unfortunately, he had to run up against that all the time. If he was running up against a normal run-of-the-mill Ohio State coach, which I think eventually this guy will be as soon as Urban's kids are finally gone, I believe this year most likely. And then we'll see what he recruits and all this stuff. But I think without Urban's talent anymore, it's going to be a different ball game in Columbus. So, and then maybe, if Jim's still there, maybe he'll have a chance to compete with him after, this year coming up. That's on it. But anyway, we'll stay focused on this game, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be a good game. People are talking about it being an upset special, which I don't know that I would really call it an upset. You got one team ranked 21, one at 18. That's not too much of a difference in my opinion. I mean,
No.
and the game's being played in Minnesota, so I don't know how much you can really say, it's an upset.
And Minnesota deserves credit. They've really, speaking of teams that have, gotten a lot better, they've been solid the last handful of years here.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that Michigan goes in here and wins this hands down. I'm certainly hopeful that they can do it, but I mean, I don't expect it. Plus, we don't really know what anybody's going to look like. I mean, like we just talked about with Nevada. I mean, it's first game of the season. There's been no season up to this point, so it's everybody's first game. So we'll see what happens. I think talent-wise, Michigan probably should have the upper hand in this game, just based upon, because of the recruiting that Harbaugh has done, it's usually going to be better than most of the teams in the Big Ten. He's had a little bit more success, but again, like Bryson just said, Minnesota, they've been solid the last few seasons, so I would expect it to continue this year. So we'll see. It should be a good game, though. I'm looking forward to watching it.
I'm really excited for this game as well. What is it? Little battle for the Little Brown Jug, right?
Little Brown Jug.
It was such a one-sided rivalry for the longest time that it hard to call it a rivalry, but I think it's starting to heat up now. I do agree that when you just look at Michigan's program, Minnesota's program, the coach at Michigan, and the recruiting that there should be as opposed to Minnesota. Michigan, they're usually in the top 20, I would think, in terms of recruiting in the nation, and it generally shows with where they're ranked during the season. However, Minnesota has definitely gotten better. The coach that they got there has got them on the map and put them in a position where they're not a slouch. Like he was talking about earlier, people talking about this being an upset special. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think it would be any form of an upset. I'm not saying it would be an upset if Michigan wins this game, but I'm just saying, I'm not entirely sold on the fact that Michigan should be too heavily favored going into this game. I think Minnesota is pretty solid. Michigan obviously is solid too, but I don't think Minnesota gets enough credit just based on their history. And I think that this is going to be a nail-biter the whole way through. And unfortunately, I'm actually going to go with Minnesota in this game. I think at home, I think they're gonna pull this one out.
Well, this will be Bryson's last video. He won't be joining us again.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
If he shows up missing, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the game?
I would like to kind of echo what they were saying. Going to be a close one. Don't think either team really should be heavily favored in this one, but I'm going to have to go with Michigan, actually. I think they're going to pull this one out.
Okay. Yeah, this game, again, like we said, first game of the season. I have no idea who's got what. I think most of the kids from Minnesota are returning, and I know Michigan has had some changes, right? Because quarterback's gone, and
Yep.
and some weird, whoever knows what anything else. But they're going to have people to plug right in, just because it is Michigan and it's Harbaugh. Harbaugh's going to do the typical pro style offense, and he'll run it, and I think it's going to be a low scoring game. than this. But I'm gonna row the boat with Minnesota
Okay.
on this one.
All right. Well,
And this is Don's last video.
me and Don have loved being a part of this channel.
Yes,
and,
it was good knowing you all.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys watching us. We hope that you know,
Yep.
moving forward, you guys can.
Don's gonna die of some rat poisoning tonight,
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
he didn't know it was in his food. But
Yeah.
So
now.
Norville, win one for Don too, will ya?
Yeah. Win one for the Gopher.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens there on that one. But again, you know, hey, Michigan's got the Jumpman on their logo, so hey, who knows? Right?
Yeah. No, it should be a good game.
It's going to be. I expect it to be a close game, and I think everybody's so pissed with the Vikings in Minnesota. They're craving for something good to happen in football.
Yeah.
For the state of Minnesota,
Oh, man.
because it's been pretty underperforming for the Vikings this year. So I think everybody around town in
Is
the
ready to
in the
purge.
areas are going, hey, let's hope Minnesota, you know,
well,
pulls
Minnesota
this
State
out.
can get a victory. That's fine.
Yeah, like Minnetonka.
Yeah, Minnetonka College.
I mean,
is fine.
yeah, community college,
Yeah, they'll take care of
the
it.
Timbers,
Yeah.
or the Lakes, or Lakers, or probably something
Yeah,
more
they'll
called.
take care of it. They'll take care of it.
Yeah. So okay, that looks like that's a wrap for
Yeah.
for this week. So we'll see what happens this weekend, and we'll get an update for everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll have to review up.
Well, some of us will be here for next week, but
Yeah.
a couple
I was
of
gonna
them
say
won't
at least you'll get a review from them.
Yeah, these guys.
Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna run. I got we got
Hey.
Louisville too.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
exactly.
Hey,
Saying
hey,
we're out.
Yeah.
hey, you know what? Depending on how we play, you might not see me in the next video.
And I had the
be. Or we'll be
Wolfpack.
broadcasting the next video from San Quentin.
Hi, we're gonna be doing Tuna Sports with Scott Peterson.
And OJ.
Yeah. That'd be the worst. So
We might have to start DENT Sports.
behind bars,
Exactly. 6 feet under.
9 bars.
or prison bars unlimited.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
So-
We'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully Michigan does win. You know, I like Michigan a lot more than Minnesota. I mean, they're kind of bleh to me. But, you know, whatever. Hopefully Michigan can win. And hopefully all our teams can win, especially Nevada. That's the team we all have in
damn.
common for rooting. And, you know, hopefully they can come out, win one for the old ball coach's dad. And at the very least, hopefully we can all, you know, come here, or at least those of us that are left, can come here in a good spirit. In good spirits.
Or we'll be a spirit.
Exactly. Maybe we'll just hang
One way
up
or
an
the other.
Alabama.
We'll all be here.
Yeah.
We can just hang up an Alabama jersey in the back room that says "Rest in Peace," you know, something like that for the future.
Put a spotlight on
Yeah, I'll hang up a jersey with
Memorial.
your last name on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, anyways, guys, this is probably going to do it for Tuned In Sports for this video. It's been an honor having this channel for the time being. And you know, we look forward to bringing you guys some more content.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah. They look forward to bringing you more content
Yeah.
and taking over with a little bigger subscriber base.
Yeah. I was
So,
gonna say that. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll see what ends.
the videos will be a lot shorter moving forward.
Yeah, another
Less talking.
Yeah, less talking. Less different opinions. So if you guys are a fan of that, make sure you keep watching the old stuff.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You guys know the deal. With that being said, my name is Bryson,
I bet.
I'm Steve.
I'm Don.
and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Go back.
Go Pack.